On a bright May morning in 2025, in the heart of Ouagadougou, President Ibrahim Traoré received a call from this international advisor, the airlines would go. This news that would soon set the stage for a global shutdown. The White House had invited him to participate in a large-scale broadcast forum on global education alongside Karoline Leavitt. The newly appointed UTOCAS press secretary known for aggressive, often dismissive remarks about foreign leaders. As Ibrahim paused from reviewing national education reports, he immediately recognized the deeper stakes behind such an invitation. This isn't just a penalty, was a symbolic battlefield between Western and African visions of progress. At just 35, Ibrahim had led a sweeping transformation of Burkina Faso's education system, winning international acclaim for lifting literacy from 29% to 78% in under 3 years, establishing 247 new schools, introducing digital platforms in 95% of institutions, and launching 23 technical universities tailored to the nation's economic growth. He smiled slightly and accepted the invitation, not out of vanity but with a quiet resolve of a leader eager to show what every could teach the world. Meanwhile, in Washington, Karoline Leavitt, brimming with distinction, dismissed the invitation as a strategic opportunity to humiliate what she called earn not a third word leader pretending to sound relevant, brushing a horrid email cautionary note about Burkina Faso's impressive educational statistics with a scowl. These people inflating barriers to seem competent. And my job is to express the truth. As the days passed, both campers prepared in drastically different ways. Ibrahim immersed himself in deep, authentic preparation, meeting with Education Minister Aminata Kampara to ensure not just the received data but the collection of real stories that showed the human impact of reform. Students who had never dreamed of school, teachers now empowered, and entire communities transformed. He understood that true influence doesn't come from statistics alone but from stories that stir the conscience. Karoline, on the other hand, instructed her team to defer flaws, demanding reports of illiteracy, failed programs, or infrastructural weaknesses, convinced that a country that barely has electricity had no right to challenge American narratives. Horse and Raid, Michael Thompson, tried to warn her, reminding her that Traoré had been recognized by UNESCO and hard for these reforms, but she awaited with smug certainty. Even cross-politicians far smarter than him. At CNN headquarters, veteran journalist Anderson Cooper crafted questions designed not for diplomacy, but for confrontation and real debate, not research lines. As May 22 approached, anticipation spread worldwide. In classrooms across Africa, children gathered around radios and televisions, and across the West, analysts braced for ideological collision. When the moment arrived there, the countries could not have been starker. Ibrahim airport via satellite from Ouagadougou into the altar, command routine in the soul of his people, while Karoline took her place in the Washington studio with Polish bravado and a smirk of superiority. The forum began with tension and fireworks. Karoline attacking Ibrahim's legitimacy with accusations of fraudulent data and fragile infrastructure, while Ibrahim responded not with defensiveness, but with poise and precision, sharing vivid, personal stories of transformation, speaking not as a politician, but as a servant of each nation's future. He acknowledged the challenges but emphasized ownership, vision, and the African capacity to lead its own renaissance. By the end of the night, the narrative had flipped. Social media lit up with admiration for Ibrahim's humility, intelligence, and dignity, with hashtags like Reshotka Afrikitex and Reshotka IbrahimTraoré trending globally. Even skeptics were moved by his vision of education as liberation, not deep in sea. Back in Burkina Faso, crowds erupted in pride not because their president had won an argument, but because he had told their story to the world with strength and grace. What began as an attempt to humiliate an African leader ended as a reminder that true power lies not in titles or technology, but in truth, integrity, and the ability to imagine a better world and inspire others to believe in it. The forum that many assumed would be an easy win for the United States took a sharp turn as Anderson Cooper welcomed the global audience with the signature policy. Good evening, world. Tonight, we bring you a current exchange of ideas between President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso and White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt on the future of global education. As the screen split, Ibrahim airport seated in his presidential office, surrounded by shows of books and the flag of Burkina Faso, a quiet symbol of national pride. Opposite him, Karoline sat in a sleek, Tech Washington studio, radiating confidence. Anderson began with a pointed question, President Traoré, Karoline Leavitt argues that developed nations like the are best positioned to lead global education reform. Your thoughts? Ibrahim offers a courtier smile. Emir Cooper, I respect the educational contributions of the United States, but innovation has no borders. Often, the bolder solutions are the urisayurtses askersent energische force ingenuity. Karoline smerk was instant, least with sarcasm. President Traoré, no orphans, but you lead a country that had over 50% of illiteracy just a few years ago. How can you possibly lecture the creators of Harvard, MIT, and Stanford on education? Ibrahim didn't flinch. IT is precisely because of the magnitude of our past challenges that you developed more practical and inclusive solutions. When you are not cushioned by your boundaries, you must rely on wisdom too. Karoline scoffed. Wisdom. Forgive me, but where did you even study? Which American university trained you? Or did you graduate from some revolutionary manual? Her words struck with the unmistakable sting of prejudice. Ibrahim remained calm, composed, and dignified, even as the tension rippled across the studio. Anderson intervened. Miss Leavitt, that was unnecessary. Karoline shot back, unnecessary but agreed. African education isn't equivalent to American education. Ibrahim nodded slowly, each essay piercing through the lens. Thank you for that reminder, Miss Leavitt. You will just clarified exactly what kind of education you are defending to. 10. Without raising HE's voice, Ibrahim turned the entire narrative. Since you brought up education, let's clarify some things your research conveniently missed. On the screen behind him, academic credentials began to flash. A first-class bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana, a master's in public administration from the Sorbonne in Paris, an MBA from the London School of Economics, completed while he served as a military officer. Karoline shifted in.